Marla Abao is a graduating BS Industrial Engineering student studying in UP Diliman. She is also one of the board members of WiTech, where she co-headed one of the first student-led women in tech conferences in Metro Manila. In university, she served as the VP for Academic Affairs of UPIE Club in the academic year 2020 to 2021, where she led consultancy projects for the Philippine Red Cross and the Office of the Vice President of the Philippines as part of IE8. She's also had several technology-related internships in companies such as Zalora, Geodata, Microsoft, and currently with Grocery. She loves learning and understanding different technologies and how we can leverage them to create a positive impact in this world.
All right, for second panelist, Nicfreida Nikki Gomez is the appointed team captain of Laban PH, who bagged as one of the global nominees for the NASA International Space Up Challenge 2020 awards. They created an app called Laban, which aims to serve as an online library for the students at home during online classes with regards to NASA Earth datasets. She is currently an undergraduate student studying Bachelor of Science in Astronomy, major in astrophysics at Rizal Technological University, Bondi campus. She is currently a WiTech Manila volunteer, Scientia PH Content/Research Committee member, and Students for the Exploration and Development of Space in the Philippines head of the fundraising team, encouraging Filipino students to join the space industry.
Our third panelist is April Rose Merano, a manager of data and analytics from PwC Acceleration Center, Manila. She graduated from the University of Santo Tomas with a Bachelor of Science in Accountancy. She has 2 years of involvement in the robotics process automation and data science, with 7 years experience of working professionally in accounting and auditing. In PwC Manila, she is a Women in Technology member.
Is how do you stay motivated in learning? We can first have Miss Marla and then Miss Nikki and then followed by Miss April in answering the questions.
I think for me, okay, one general rule of thumb that I personally follow is that, discipline is a lot more sustainable than motivation. So motivation wavers at different times in your life, different times of the day even, or even, like literally any second, it could change. So you can be motivated for something, but then not be able to push through if you rely heavily on motivation. So of course, there's this more bearing towards discipline. I would be very frank about that. But in terms of being motivated to learn, I think it's about being able to explore different ways of learning. Because for me, parang may mga cases na I'm a lot more excited when I learn through reading, for example, and then eventually it's like, oh, my brain's too tired. What if I try, audio visual types of learning, or what if I study with a group of friends, or what if I study alone? So as much as I say na find the perfect thing that works for you and your personal learning style, it's also about keeping things exciting there. So it's not like a very boring thing, but you have to keep that general discipline overall, just to be able to sustain whatever thing you're trying to learn. So it could be, I assume most of you guys are still in school, so it could be about studying in high school or in college, or if you plan to learn a new programming language, for example, or plan to learn more about FigJam or like Figma later, right? Those are some of the things that you can really explore and try to find different learning paths and learning styles. You don't have to conform with everyone else. I hope that answers. So just to kind of summarize, because I get to ramble sometimes. First is to be very disciplined in what you want to do, and then two is try to explore different aspects of learning.
Thank you, Miss Marla. I really do agree with what you said about balancing it with being exciting as well as discipline. I think we can have Miss Nikki answer the question next.
Hi again. Am I clear? Like, there's no background noises back.
Okay. There is, but it's okay. We can hear you.
Okay, that's cool. So yeah, I agree what Marla said. Like other people, however, find it difficult to stay motivated when studying, especially when the end seems a long way away. Especially during like you're not especially now that we're on a COVID situation. Like it's so tiring to learn. Like we don't know if this learning would really go forward, like what will be the future and everything like that. So for me, I motivate myself always by I'm so thankful because I'm part of the organization, which helps me and also inspires me to study a lot, to learn more, at the same time enjoying making connections with people that I'm sure for sure that will help me in the future, especially the career path that I'm choosing to. And also, I always keep my end goal in mind. Not gonna lie, that there were times that I don't wanna study anymore. Like it's like nothing's improving since it's pandemic. There are many opportunities were missed because of COVID. Like we have to deal with it through online na lang. So yeah, I mean for me it's really good if we handle workshops and something like that in person. Um, so I think that's it. I think April can share more about it. Thank you.
Thank you. So, for me, on how do I stay motivated, I actually have 2 points. So, the first one is staying curious because you can actually learn from anything and everything. Just know how to be curious. Those small what ifs, those small what will happen if I do this? That's actually you motivating yourself to learn whatever the topic is. And one thing that I want you all guys to keep in mind is there is no such thing as a stupid question. That one small question will always motivate you to learn more. So that's the first one. Second, the physical aspect of your learning environment. First, is your body conditioned to learn? Check, are you sleeping well? Are you eating well? Because if your body is not conditioned to learn, whatever thing you place in there, you won't be able to maintain it. Make sure you are in that condition that you are well rested, you're actually fueling your body and your mind properly, and ensure that your environment is actually suitable for learning. Because even if you have the materials, but your environment is so noisy, it's not organized to be conditioned. I mean, your environment is not really suitable for learning. You won't be able to absorb it very, very well. And those are the two things that keeps me motivated in learning. Because actually, I have this ritual when I'm studying back in college. Sorry, don't ask my questions, but I'm a little bit ancient already. So I actually have this ritual wherein I have to be already fresh. I already took a bath. I already ate. I already have my area very, very organized so that when I start studying, I know that everything that I would need is already there. I know that I won't be disturbed. And of course, actually within a specific time, I'll be able to absorb it without any distractions at all. So that's how I stay motivated. I know what is my um, environment that is suitable for my learning, and of course of the questions. Even if that's schoolwork, you have to stay curious because I know it's already it's how you look at it. If there's something you don't understand, you have to ask why. If you don't still understand, look at it the other way. How? So those are the tips that I can give you on how to stay motivated in learning.
Grabe, super, parang hindi kami nakailag sa tulog. So, wala kami tulog.
Oo.
Pero thank you so much, ma'am. And to all our panelists kasi super dami naming natutunan. And I can really speak for everyone here in this meeting. So, on to our next question.
Ayan. So our next question po. Ay, before we actually answer this po, I just want to say na yung pong walang tulog, yung ayaw mag-aral, then yung medyo unhealthy na po katawan, medyo story of my life po. Pero yeah, I think I should really take note of your tips po from now on. So anyways, yung next question po natin is, ayan, is there a moment where you doubted your degree or job? And what did you do about it? How did it help you achieve or reach where you are now? We can probably answer the questions reverse order naman po. So, Miss April, you can go first here po.
Okay. For this one, I'll answer first, right? So is there a moment where you doubted your degree or job, and then what did I do about it? So first off, um, I'm an accountant by profession, and currently I'm handling people under different degrees. So from IT people, engineering people, we also have other accountants and mathematicians. So that's a good variety of people. So if there is a moment actually when we were starting in our new cluster, because what we're handling is full of technology and I'm an accountant. Of course, you'll doubt yourself. Are you really suitable for this role? So that's a moment for me. That's where I need to really still up. Be firm on what I believe and how will I proceed from this mindset. I'll call it a mindset. So from there, you'll have to diagnose what are actually needed for the job and why were you selected. I'll start with the why you were selected, because you are not gonna play you're not gonna be there if you don't have something that they saw in you. That's one of the things that I actually had to keep to hold on to. So maybe it was something about me being able to adjust during that time. So I have to keep that in mind. I won't be here if they didn't believe in me. That's one. Second is, what do I need to do for me to be able to certain expectations? Because let's face it, there will always be an expectation. So those are the two things. So the second one, when it comes to the expectations, I have to upskill. I have to learn the things that I need to do. So as I mentioned earlier, we have a lot of diversity in the office. So maybe I need to learn more about the tools that we use, about data science in general, about the RPA, the robotics. And right now, we're actually being encouraged to take up web development. So that's what I did. And right now, I'm still in the process of learning. So here, I'm actually still in the process of doing something about it. So what I would suggest, if you're actually feeling this, is for you to check yourself. Do a quick check-up. Why I was here? Why am I here? And what can I do to be good at it, if not excel at it? Because you will stay in that place forever if you don't do something about it. No way but up, right? So that's it. And then, of course, for me, it helped a lot. It helped a lot because I met a lot of people. I actually learned from them. That's the good part. I actually learned from them. Imagine that diversity and then the knowledge that I can actually learn from them. So that negative side of the thing, that, adjustment period is actually what I leverage to make sure that I am actually in this position at the moment. So if you think it's a bad thing, you have to change the mindset. Is it really a bad thing? Or maybe it's a challenge for you to do better. Change the mindset. Because sometimes the mindset is what actually keeps us in that place wherein we can't move or do anything about the situation. So that's my thought about this one. Thank you.
Miss Ma'am April, grabe yung self-doubt at the topic of expectation. Sobrang tamang-tama, hindi kami nakailag. But thank you for speaking on behalf of how we feel. And thank you so much for encouraging us to just continue on this path despite of the challenges that we may face. Ikaw ba, Alain? What are your thoughts?
Oo nga, yung sa self-doubt talaga. Honestly. Pero yeah, I also really agree po what you said about changing mindset. Kasi at the end of the day, as much as you think about it, di ba, you can always think otherwise. And that can always work for you. So, yung sa other panelists po ba natin, I think Miss Marla and Miss Nikki, any one of you can go next naman po in answering this question.
Okay, I can go quickly next. I just want to say that I super appreciated Miss April's points because I genuinely agree. When it comes to parang learning or being able to shift or change your mind, um, kumbaga, like there's no nothing stopping you. Like even in college, even in high school, you can easily decide to learn a different skill or maybe even shift if payagan kayo ng school nyo to shift, of course, in college. So don't feel the pressure to have to kind of like achieve something right away or be at a certain point in your life immediately. So that's just something that I want to flag up front. But personally, yes, I do have a lot of doubts when it comes to like my degree or the things that I've achieved or the things that I want to pursue. So yeah, I introduced this earlier. I'm still about to graduate college, so I haven't really had like the full breadth of like experiences April was able to have and was able to share. But when you're at this point, you kind of have this intense like crossroad. Like what do I pursue in the future? Like for example, I'm taking industrial engineering. Industrial engineering is not as like technologically, I guess, specialized or in depth compared to let's say computer science, computer engineering. And for me, as someone who's really like interested in being able to pursue technology and technology roles, like I had to do a lot of stuff for my own personal learning. And fortunately, like when I entered college, the program was structured in a way that had a lot more equip. Sorry if there's background noise, by the way. Just wanna say sorry ahead of time. But yeah, like there were a lot of classes that promoted their own learning for different programming languages or even handling devices. So I think it's about things you want to learn while you're still in school and being able to enjoy and maximize that opportunity to learn. And don't feel like, kasi ito lang tinake ko, bawal na ako mag-pursue ng ibang career or mag-apply for different, maybe even a master's program or whatever. Like there's always an opportunity for you to learn. And don't kind of rush yourself. There will be self-doubt. I cannot, the people who don't have self-doubt, like I applaud you. I hope I can say the same. But ayun, like I think it's about figuring out your own non-negotiables, being open to always learning, and just not pressuring yourself and looking forward to other ways you can enrich yourself, your own learning, your own growth, and your own happiness. So those are some of the things that I have learned and I'm struggling to learn also right now.
Ayan, thank you po, Miss Marla. And actually, before we continue po with Miss Nikki, natatawa lang din po ako kasi actually may sarili pong Discord chat you sa WiTech and they're really agreeing with what you're saying po. So, ayun, personally po, me and I think Ate Sai, we're both SHS students. So I think this is a lot for us din to think about in the process na din po when we get there. Pero yeah, from like ngayon pa lang po since we got to choose our STEAM strand, ganun po. It's a very important thing to really think about din po since kapag sa college naman po meron po kaming choice na pumili ng iba pong courses or iba pong fields. So ayun po. Thank you po, Miss Marla. So Miss Nikki can go next na rin po.
Hi. Hi again. Um, when I decided to shift my course from veterinary medicine to astronomy and decided to continue my studies here in Manila, like I have zero connections here. Um, and astronomy isn't that many here in Manila. Like there's I think there were only two universities here offering astronomy course. The other one is New Era University and Rizal Technological University, the university that I attend to. So yeah, I have zero connections, and there were times that I really like going to shift again because I don't have any peers that I wanted to talk about. Because mostly in our department, I think half of the population, no, most of the population were guys on it. So me, I'm not good in making conversations with guys. Like I'm so used with girls, environment, yeah, stuff like that. So um, so ayun, what I did is I researched about organization here in the Philippines which I can join, and then first result was WiTech. So like there I think most of them were girls, and it's super cool because we share the same passion which break gender barriers and stereotypes through science and tech. um, I really love science ever since, also technology, robotics, stuff like that, space tech. um, that's it. I joined WeTech, and then it goes on. The opportunities were super super huge. Like I got to attend workshops that I haven't had attended before. So the reason why I got to join a lot of organizations such as Ciencia PH, SANS PH, and um, my org for volunteerism, Kaayo PH from I think from Ateneo. So yeah, that's it. How did it help you achieve? Uh, I mean, it inspires me to really do my best because I've been surrounded with great people. I had to be best also do my best. So yeah, they're bunch of inspirations. That's it. And I just want also to comment about what Marla and April said a while ago. Like I super agree with everything they said. So thank you.
Super late, Ate Nikki, since I was interested in pursuing aerospace engineering, and based on my research before, only one university here in the Philippines overall offers offers the degree that I want to pursue. And in terms of the connections, you don't know anyone on that field. So yun doubt mo in pursuing that degree, and yun doubt mo in general in pursuing that path andoon. So I can totally relate with how you feel. So, on to our next question. Is your work environment dominated by males, or maybe your academic environment for Ate Nikki and Ate Marla? If yes, is it hard? How does this affect you? So maybe we can go with Ate Nikki, and then Ate Marla, and then Miss April.
Um, So, as I've said a while ago, like most of the population in my department, specifically astronomy, um, most of them were guys on it, and sometimes, like girls were over dominated. Like how do I say this? There were times that most of the guys were recognized more than girls because most of the I think most of the executives in the department were all males. So yeah, in handling telescopes, like okay, guys do that, girls no. There's this one time also, like we have this hackathon within the department only, and I was the only girl in our group, and there as always, like most of the time, girls were assigned as the writer or secretary, something like that. So yeah, like but I I told them that I wanted to also I want to engage with the activities also. Like I'm not the type of girl na who will write all the things that they want. I wanted to do. Like I wanted also to get involved with the with a certain topic or the hackathon that we make. So that's it. Like how does this affect you? I think it's not that hard, naman. As long as you know how to communicate and respect each other. Like so yeah, that's it. And also know the boundaries that you're dealing. Kasi ako I'm so used in um what do you call that? In um yeah, I'm so used in having conversations with girls, sharing ideas. So it's really new to me to get involved with guys, but yeah, it's not that really difficult actually. Like in our field, most of the guys were super respectful and they respect girls. Um, yeah, that's it.
Thank you for that, Miss Nikki. I think she was referring to the system itself and not the men directly, since as she said, na respectful pa rin yung men in her field. It's just that the system is there. So let's hear to Ate Marla.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna start with high school actually. So I went to a science high school. And surprisingly enough, there was only one girl for every two guys. So like we were literally that was the ratio for the entire match. And like you start to doubt yourself on the fly actually, because you're like, but ang daming lalaki, like, but why does everyone keep on saying na they're the ones who compete most of the time for math, for coding, for computer science, because I also joined the computer science field in high school. We were like four girls and like around 15 to 20 boys whenever we go and train. So that does says a lot about the current ratio. Although of course it's not a discredit to them at all. And it's not a discredit to women as well. I think, and I genuinely stand by this until now. The reason why women are very underrepresented, also like in my college, I'm in College of Engineering, it's very konti na kayo mga babae. But fortunately pala, sorry. So, ang daming tangent. But fortunately in IE, medyo ano naman kami, medyo gender equal. But anyway, going back to the point, it's that women are not as empowered or not even as, it's not an open field for girls to get into technology or even engineering and technology and engineering as a whole. And because of that, like little boys are praised even in grade school. Like I've seen, mas magaling talaga yung boys sa math. Ganun talaga yung status quo ng buhay. I see April like nodding her head. Like this is an ongoing, parang brainwashing to little girls who believe that they're able to be as competent in the field, but are not, encouraged enough. And yeah, even until now, di naman sila masama. I super agree with Sai's point about like it's the whole system that we're kind of that we're perpetuating, and we're not actively putting a stop to. That's why mas underrepresented pa rin mga babae when it comes to even in school and all the more in work. But I have to say I'm very fortunate in my department nga in IE na gender equal siya. But I see a lot of my peers, mga friends ko, let's say sa comp sci, ang konti lang ng babae na doon, or for mechanical engineering. And even some of the professors or teachers are very biased towards the guys compared to the girls. And I have to be very candid in saying that I had to learn to be a lot more outspoken and a lot more verbose. I had to make sure that I command attention in the way I speak just to be respected or heard. And I'm very proudly presenting as someone who's relatively feminine, right? But those are some of the things that you notice na parang, why do I have to tweak this? But then a guy who's a lot more parang, let's say, passive can still get more credit than me. So those are some instances. And it does affect me a lot. It really does. And like having to adjust some things about myself whenever I'm speaking to, let's say, other male peers or male superiors, right? But I hope people who are attending this talk are a lot more open and a lot more encouraged, yeah, to get rid of all those unconscious biases. That's the proper term, diba? Because you don't want to think of, it's not something you actively think about, but because you grew up that way, may mga ganun kang ways of thinking. But anyway, yun, moving forward, I do see a very good improvement when it comes to the representation in women in school for engineering and technology, and also in work. So like I'm about to work, the company that I signed to is very inclusive. So I'm quite fortunate when it comes to that, and I hope yeah, people who visit here are a lot more active in removing their biases. And I want to say that this follows for all of the gender. Gender is a spectrum. So for everyone, make it a very inclusive future uh, for all of our technologists. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll echo what Nika and Marla actually mentioned earlier. So, for Nika, the fact that it's a personal code for your workmates to be able to respect you regardless of the gender, and also for the fact that stereotypes really exist. So that's where the importance of really checking the culture or the environment where you want to work, why it's really, really important for you. And to be honest, that's also where why the allies, sorry, we call it allies in our organization, wherein uh, the guys are actually the allies of the women in technology. And that's where they come in, because if they know there's an unconscious bias happening, or they know that someone is being treated not right, even though she has the qualifications, the competency, you have to speak up. Because in reality, women have to take that extra step just to be at the same starting point with the male gender when it comes to technology. And I know this is the truth of other organizations. So the fortunate thing is in our organization, it's not happening. So, shameless plug for PWC. So, we actually have this program because we know that the important thing at the end of the day is the performance of our people. So, yes, um, the RPA department and the the development department of my group is actually male dominated. But the good thing here is they would welcome you regardless of the gender. We're actually waiting for other what do you call this, participants in those groups, just to make sure that we have the resource pool that we need for delivering outputs. So if it is hard, actually no, because we have the culture in place wherein we recognize, or at most we actually help in recognition of those bias or those stereotyping typing that's happening when it comes to performing that tasks. So I can say that it's not hard in our organization. So how does this affect me? Actually, it doesn't affect me much, because the most important thing when it comes to our work is to ensure that you have everything that you need. You are being respected regardless of what you are, what gender you recognize yourself with, or whatever help that you need. Because in when you're in work already, you're not supposed to look at the attachments that you have or the gender orientation that you have, because at the end of the day, the work that you do doesn't really recognize that. So do you think the codes will recognize if the fingers typing those code is actually male or female? Really, it doesn't, right? So at the moment, it really doesn't affect me, because I know you have the skills, do the job. If you can deliver well, that's good. I'll recognize for it. I'll recognize you for it. If you do better than what was done last time, I'll even give you more incentives for that. It doesn't necessarily mean that if you're a guy, even you're doing just the bare minimum, I'll do excessive praising for you, while the other one, because she's a female and she's actually doing a lot better than you, I'll praise her with the bare minimum of my praises. No, it's always equality. I think there's a better word. Sometimes it's actually called equity, because you have to check what's actually being delivered and not what was given for them at the start of the day. It's actually the output at the end of the day, because um what matters, especially in the workplace, is always be the output. So the first step is ensure that the work environment is being checked if you're planning to apply for a job in a certain organization. The second is you have to check if that culture is actually being followed. And of course, you have to make sure that you are not gonna be pressured into, thinking yourself less because of your gender. Because at the end of the day, we are output driven. That should be the measure of your performance, not your gender. Okay?
Yes, thank you po, Miss April and Miss Nikki, for what you said about this question din po. And I think I should also really add din po what you said. I highlight what you said nga na your work doesn't really recognize your gender. Kasi personally po, I am in a family with lots of females din po. And one of my cousins is planning to take civil engineering, but she was told by my tito not to take it because she will not be successful in that field because she's a female. And I remember like saying that that's not even his choice to make at all. And if she becomes a good civil engineer, then that doesn't really matter. And at this point, we should really call for more allies as well, men who want to fight for women as well. And yeah, because at the end of the day, nothing really matters until there's just human progress we see. If there's human progress, it doesn't matter who made it. It's just that we all end up in a better place. So I think we can proceed to the other question. But before that, Atisai, what do you think about the answer so far?
Super agree ako dun sa sinabi niya na the gender doesn't matter as long as you can produce rather sa work ko din. As long as you can produce, it doesn't matter if you're a female or you're a male. But we must also definitely acknowledge the hurdles that females really faces kasi it is important to know if they are having difficulty or if they are being treated unequally. So let us proceed with the next question. How
Ayan. Ay, sige, go lang.
how do you gain confident in yourself as a woman? So maybe we can have Miss April and then Miss Marla and then Miss Nikki.
All right. How do you gain confidence in yourself as a woman? Pwede bang tanggalin yung as a woman part? Because I don't think confidence attaches itself, on gender. When you know you work hard for something and you actually achieve that something, you start to gain confidence. It's actually a series of gaining those small successes. And then you'll start to gain that confidence. And actually, I have this, I actually got this from one of the speakers. So, did you know that confidence is actually the reflection of yourself from other people? So, it means how others are actually recognizing you. So, if people are recognizing your efforts, or if there are documents that are showing your progress as compared to your goals, you actually gain confidence because you know you're doing progress. So those small progress over time, hindi mo alam yan, pero you're actually gaining confidence. But the thing here, when it comes to confidence, it's also easy to lose once that reflection is shattered. So, dito sa confidence na to, when you say confidence, I'll give you an example. maybe when you have a good grade or you passed an exam. So una maliliit lang yan. Consequently, pasa ka na ng pasa. And then you'll actually have that confidence na maybe I can actually pass these prelims. O kaya these finals and have a good grade. So you're gaining confidence. That's a small type of confidence. Or maybe in my workplace, it's the first time that I'm actually gonna do something, a robot. So first, wala pa, di ba? Wala pa yung confidence because it's your first time to do it. And then, once you've already done the first one, you'll start to gain confidence. And bonus points pa yung pag may nagsabing, uy, ang ganda ng bot mo. Di ba? So that confidence is actually being built by the people around you. Those who saw what you did. And that's the reason why it's really important if you see something that your colleague did or even your classmate did, praise them and give compliments. Because you may not know it, you're actually giving a part of a confidence to someone. So that's how you gain confidence and that's how you give confidence. For me, it's not always about, gaining confidence. It's actually you also giving confidence to other people. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Miss April. Miss Marla, you can go next po pala. Ayan. Thank you.
Okay, got it. Sige. Actually, do want to challenge a bit what April was able to mention. I still want to attach the term as a woman, primarily because you have to recognize that there are a lot of different struggles in being able to build confidence, especially if your gender identity is a woman, and even just there's a lot of attachment and what do you call this? There's a lot of unspoken burdens that are associated with womanhood and the struggles that aren't, people need to recognize. I won't go deeper into that anymore, but yun. So I think how to gain confidence in yourself as a woman is one, understand that there will always be a community of women who will support. And I'm so happy that we're going towards that parang society and community that's building women up, each other up, diba? Women building each other up, something like that. So before, this whole misogynistic or patriarchal point of view was very perpetuated na parang, why do women go against each other all the time? Like, it's always competition, it's always ganyan. But, we're shifting the conversation into something that's a lot more empowering. And, like events like these, organizations such as WiTech, and a lot more are allies that help build the confidence and in each other. But I do super agree with all the other points that Ms. April was able to bring up, especially when it comes to, let's say, recognizing your own achievements, having a community, and seeing that you are very much capable. I think another thing that ties around the concept of confidence is how, and if you attach your own, self-worth from how others perceive you. And it's very difficult to say, na, don't think about what others have to say about you, or don't think about others. Like, as it's easier said than done to have a I don't care mindset, but I think it's something we need to kind of adapt in a way. Like, not that I don't care completely, but more on, I have my own goals, I have my own timeline, and I'm confident with where I am now. Or I have things that I want to be able to build on so I can gain that confidence in the future. And for me, some steps are just like, for me, self-care. I find a lot of, like parang being able to have that moment now when you look at the mirror, just like, wow, parang feel ko sarili ko today. Mga ganon. Or activities when you spend time with your friends or build each other up. Ganon. I think those are some small steps you can make. And in the grand scheme of things, it's about finding, I guess, like some sort of peace in your own womanhood, and like just always looking forward to the support that you're gonna be able to give. And like with VTech, that's a really good way to start building that confidence in a community. And also, I have to excuse myself. I already told some of the organizers because I have something else I need to attend to. But I know my other panelists will have so much more to share. If there's anything you want to connect with me with, I will send my email in the chat. So thank you so much, WiTech, for spending time with me today, and I hope all the participants were able to learn something from me and from my co-panelists who have much more to share. So I'll go ahead. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a
Miss
great
Marla, would it be okay if we
Sorry.
take a picture first?
Good call. I nearly forgot.
Okay,
Sige,
thank you,
sige.
thank you. So
Sorry.
let's wait for Tech to unshare her screen, then we can proceed with our picture.
Sige. Thank you so much pala.
Okay, participants, you can open your cameras so our tech could capture you as well. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Another one with the VTech post. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you so much, Miss Marla. We appreciate you being here. All right, let's proceed to the answer of Miss Nikki.
All right. Yeah, I super agree what Marla said. Like everything she said. I mean, um, the support system that we have from, the support system that I have from my family, from my peers, and from the people around my community, especially in the science industry, my mentors. Yeah, it allows me to gain confidence in myself. Also, there are times that we have to face failures, ups and downs, but I'm a type of person that who always see it as a positive, and also it helps me to raise many times, and this also helps instill a quality in use, which ensures that we should not give up until we succeed. As long as you have the goal right there, like you know where you wanna be or something like that. I think that's the one of the things. I mean, the important things that it helps us boost our confidence. As long as we know what we are doing, we're confident about it, and yeah, the support system. That's it.
Yes, thank you, Miss Nikki, for that answer. I also really agree with support system kasi WiTCon in the first place, it's about empowerment. WiTCon and WiTech as an organization, it's about empowerment. And when you're there, when you get used to all of the internalized misogyny we have in our everyday world, when we get to WiTech and when we get to other people, our support system, we realize fully nga na we have more than we can do than what other people say. And yeah, I think we can proceed with our next question na rin po. Ayan. Okay. So ang next question po natin medyo magda-divert po yung topic. What books that impacted your life do you recommend? Ayan, any of you can go first po.
Let's just give them a few more minutes. Baka inaalala pa nila yung title ng mga books na na-read na nila.
Yeah, add natin yan sa recommendation channel.
Yeah.
Siguro while we wait po, kayo ba at the side, do you have any books that impacted your life?
Many books. Meron ako na-read yung something like, wait lang, ano bang title nun? To Kill a Mockingbird. It's actually something that I created, what do you call this, an analysis for our 21st literature na subject. And kasi, to the, even though we are kind of diverting to the theme of today's WiTCon, it's a book that tackles really societal issues, and it makes us feel like we're in that history na we're experiencing it firsthand. We are trying to grasp the things that they experienced in that time. And it bukod sa racism, it also tackles gender equality. And it's a must read for everyone who's trying to like learn the societal issues na we're currently facing here today. Ikaw ba, Lane, what books or what book is something na parang nag-impact talaga sa life mo?
Actually, ako puro fiction ang binabasa ko. And medyo, siguro guilty na yun ako nagbabasa ng fan fiction. Pero ang kinatutuwaan ko na book, siguro yung may mga representations talaga, especially for minorities. I label them as gay books. Gay books kasi as in representation sila, we always read a bunch of heterosexual romances. So if we have yung mga representation for gay people, for the LGBT community, you really get empowered po and you try, parang alam mo yon, yung kapag nakita ka na nagmamahal sa libro, you spread that out to the world. And I like it especially when other people who are not necessarily gay also like it. Like, kapag sabi nila, natutuwa sila, di ba? Kasi at least, that's a sign that the world is healing, di ba? So, ayun. For our panelists po ba, ayan. I may nag-comment po pala here, Hidden Figures daw, about the female African-American scientist in NASA.
Galing! Wow, yung mga participants natin talaga nag-read sila ng books, no? So actually, yung mention mo about like representation, I remembered sa Netflix today, merong new series actually. It's called Heartstopper. And it's really about representation kasi even the actors themselves are, bisexuals. And it's really something na kulang sa ating society ngayon. That representation matters, Does our panelists wants to answer the question already?
I can go first.
Okay.
Yes. So normally I'm a recreational reader. So mga fantasy yung binabasa ko, but I actually had opportunity to read this book by I think the name is Malcolm Gladwell. So the title was Blink. And it's not it's more of a like an inspirational. I'm not sure if it's what the category is, but it actually highlights the power of the brain to be able to make assumptions and decisions at the blink of an eye. So he was able to cover certain circumstances wherein humans were able to evaluate a certain situation. A good example would be about this case in America wherein a guy was shot several times. It was actually a very controversial case in US way back. This black man was actually sitting in the fire exit, and this policeman was walking. And then the guy in the fire exit was acting to pull out something from his pocket. And this policeman, thinking that he was about to pull out a gun, actually shot at him. So he was highlighting that scenario. Imagine within 1 minute, just So for me, it's a very, very impactful book in a way that people actually do their judgments in the blink of an eye. And that book was actually giving me these thoughts na you can actually decide if that person is, gonna be spending your life. I mean, you're gonna be willing to spend your life with that person in just a few minutes. Hinighlight din niya yan sa book niya. So that's how powerful your brain is. So mas malala tayo because we have preconceived ideas on bias. You actually, evaluate a person. Tinignan mo mula pa hanggang ulo pabalik. Kasi judgmental tayong mga tao sa Pilipinas. Sometimes we actually already, tag that person in the blink of that eye. That first impression that you've had. Such is the power of the mind. So, actually, tinag nga niya yung mind mo sa supercomputer, even stronger than the most advanced supercomputers of the world at the moment. So, very, very interesting book. If you actually want to read it, Blink yung title.
I actually tried to search it sa Google, and the mini kasama ng title is The Power of Thinking Without Thinking, and I think it's very interesting. So if you guys want to dagdag sa inyo to read list, so go ahead. Tapos gusto ko rin i-acknowledge yung comments ng ating participants. So kay Mark Jefferson daw, Little Prince, I actually read that book na already, and I think it's pretty nice for for a reader na gustong calm lang yung story. And then for The Glass Universe by kay Mia, and then Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. I've read that already, Rahima. And then Ender's Game. Nice nga to kasi it's a science fiction. Tas may film adaptation na siya.
Yeah, and also nakakatuwa naman yun dun sa blink of an eye, you also get a judgment of whether or not a person will live with you forever. Parang gano'n dun sa lifetime mo. Kasi honestly, ako naman, when at the blink of an eye, makikita ko din kung sasaktan niya ako in the future. Parang ganun ba? Kaya baka medyo negative din pala yung mga judgments, no? Pero at least it works, diba? Na-avoid ko yung circumstance na yun. So, yeah, thank you, Miss April. Miss Nikki, do you have an answer na po?
Yeah, I already have. Actually, I read a lot of books that sometimes all the plots were mixed already. That one of the reasons why I also forgot the title. So this book was recommended by a friend actually. It's entitled Woman in a Frame. The author is a Filipino. A Filipina writer. It's by Raisa Rivera Falgoy. So, yeah, this book contributes to the literature that gives voice to women by weaving together the stories of two female painters from different eras. I mean, I'm a self-proclaimed artist also, That's why this book is really one of the books that I'm super excited to read about. So, yeah, the story of Agueda Kahabagan, a revolutionary, was also included to lend us a glimpse of women's active role during the 1896 revolution. So it's like an historical fiction. So this book, I really do appreciate how this silent space in history is vividly recreated in the novel. So when I was in high school, I used to think that Philippine life during this period revolved around Andres Bonifacio, Jose Rizal, and other men who fought against the Spaniards. So this retelling goes beyond that narrow scope and allows young adult readers a first-hand view of life at the turn of the century in Laguna and Manila. I'm sorry, am I talking so much ba? I mean, yeah. Really, I super admire the writer for emphasizing and parenthesizing Marcela Simbulan's story in 1896. So that's it. Though packed with many topics, role of women, historical events, and painting, the novel never strays from being a young adult narrative. So yeah, and also the teenage characters, whether in 1896 or 2000, have authentic teen voices and actions. So this is me is super fan of historical novels really. So that's it. I highly recommend this book actually. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nikki. I really love the books that you shared. Siyempre kasi you gave a brief description. So, i-add talaga natin yan sa to-do read, to read natin. So, next question. This will be our last question, by the way. So, what self-care tips can you share with us? So, sakto, diba? Okay, let's go with Miss Nikki na muna for today.
Self-care tips can you share with us? Self-care, okay, my daily activity in life. I mean, right now, I'm not consistent. Okay, I'm not really consistent when it comes to self-care tips, but I do work out na din with my cousins since they're having vacation here at home, and also what else? Um, I jog a lot early in the morning, and also I never forget in I always fix my schedule that I have to to read book for siesta time, something like that. And what else? What self-care tips can you share with us? Self-care. Also, I think there's this. I recommend doing yoga actually, self meditation. Like it's super helpful, guys. Pero me is not consistent, so yeah. Um, the usual one. Eat healthy foods. Me, yeah, that's it. So I think Mom April can add on that.
Okay. Self-care tips. Actually, we can tackle two items. First is the physical, second will be the mind. So, I agree with Nika. Sorry kung mali man yung nickname na binigay ko sa'yo. But, the physical, you're correct. Workouts or exercise, that's the basic ones. Maliban syempre sa basic na hygiene, right? So, sa mga hindi naliligo dyan, I encourage you, maligo tayo. So, that's the first one. Physical, make sure your body, you're always well rested. Minimum 6 hours, please lang. Right now, bata pa kayo, kaya sa tingin nyo, okay lang magpuyat. Pero I swear, it takes a toll on your body. I've been there. Nung mas kabataan ko, di ba, ancient pagsalita. Nung mas bata pa ako, akala ko kaya ko eh. I actually did a lot of all-nighters. Proud pa ako, yun yung masaklap doon. Aminin nyo, proud kayo kapag puyat kayo, pero bumabangon. Ayan. Pero here's the thing, guys. It actually takes a toll on your mind. Slower kayo to respond. Minsan, memory nyo naapektuhan. Learning actually gets stunted. Mas mahirap matuto. That's only on sleeping. Paano pa yung kinakain nyo? Ano yung pinapasok nyo sa katawan nyo? Junk foods? Fast foods? Asukal? Candies? That's actually part of self-care. Okay. Familiar kayo, di ba? Garbage in, garbage out. So whatever you actually place inside your body, hindi ko sinasabing bawal kumain ng junk foods. Ang sinasabi ko dito, check nyo kung ano yung kinakain nyo. Because that's actually how you take care of your body. That's the physical one. Get sufficient sleep, minimum na yung 6. Pero wag nyo namang sabihin sa nanay nyo na ako yung nagsabi, kaya ayun yung pag bumangon ng kama. Schedule it. Promise. Workout, hindi kailangan vigorous, hindi kailangan araw-araw. What I'm trying to say when I say workout, stay active. If you have to, if you can actually change the channel in your TV by going in there and then maglakad kayo papunta sa harap ng TV, do that. Be active. Instead na remote. Daliri lang po gumagalaw kapag remote. Stay active. Walk around the house. I know maraming study at home right now, pero you actually being there sitting all day has an impact. Human body is intended to move. That's the structure of our body. Tumayo-tayo kayo, o kaya kung may pet kayo dyan, every now and then lapitan nyo para may lakad kayo. That's it. That's the physical. Of course, mindfulness, yung sinabi niya kanina ni Nika, which is very, very helpful. But I also have an alternative for that. You should actually have your own personal cheerleader, which is ikaw. This is the first thing that everyone, culturally, this is true, right? Anong nangyayari kapag nadadapa ka ng bata or nakakita ka ng isang batang nadapa? What happens? Sasabihan ng magulang niyan na, o yan kasi, ganito, ganyan. Sisi pa, di ba? Hindi ka na lang tinulungan.
Tatawa mo na, ma'am.
That's the normal thing in our culture. Ngayon, natuto ka dahil ganun ang ginagawa ng parent mo. Pag nagkakamali ka sa isang exam, isa na lang pasado ka na, galit ka pa sa sarili mo. Paano kapag binago mo yung mindset? Uy, isa na lang. So next time kaya mo na yan, isa na lang pala, kakayanin mo na eh. Change from that number one critic to be the cheerleader, personal cheerleader. So remember, feed your mind by cheering yourself up. That's the number one. Kung wala kang time to be mindful, fine, do that. Huwag ka munang mag-mindfulness kung hindi ka pa prepared. Pero the number thing that you should do for yourself is be the number one cheerleader para sa sarili mo. Kasi kung ikaw na nga lang ang kasama mo dyan sa loob ng mind mo, krinitik mo pa, Deshi, saan tayo pupunta? So lahat negative. Ganon. Wala. So kung wala kang cheerleader, napaka-negative naman ng buhay mo, Besh. Parang wala kang karapatang mag-cheer ng ibang tao kung hindi mo kaya i-cheer yung sarili mo. Always keep that in mind. Okay?
Thank you po, Miss April. And yeah, be your own personal cheerleader talaga. Also, I think I've also read din po to just highlight what you said about the most basic self-care, like personal hygiene, ganun po. I've read somewhere that depriving yourself of the most basic self-care can also be considered as self-harm, which is something na, parang for us, it's unfavorable po. So we really have to give us that, yung sleep, yung pagtutoothbrush, yung pagliligo. So yeah, maliligo na po ako today. Joke lang. So ayun, naliligo po ako, promise. Ayan, kayo po ba, Ate Sai?
Yung sa yoga, naalala ko si Miss Jean yesterday. Yesterday, tama diba? Yesterday. So, yeah, totoo talaga. Parang super important ng physical self-care. Tapos, yung 6 hours, ma'am, grabe, natamaan talaga ako sa 6 hours. Kasi 2 hours lang itulog ko na nag-host ako last time.
Pwede tumawad.
But I agree, ma'am. I'm really trying to I believe na we're all trying to treat yourself more kahit hindi na natin kaya. And totoo yung if tinalikuran ka na ng mundo ang matitira na lang talaga is yung sarili mo. So totoo po na kahit anong mangyari, you should always have yourself. So, Alain?
Ayan, sige, thank you, Ate Sai. And also, thank you again to our panelists for being part of the session and allowing our participants to learn from you all.